Biden-funded Chirla. And then we have to ask ourselves, why are Democrats so eager to fund these LA riots, to fund these No Kings protests? I still, having been on the inside and having known these people, I suspect, actually, I know that they are trying to do everything they can to pave the way for the 2030 census, to make sure that states like California and New York that would otherwise lose representation can continue to juice up the numbers to ensure that they have as much electoral power as possible. Because after all, guys, the 435 House of Representatives, it is a zero-sum game. The number is not going to increase. It's the same pie. We just divvy it up a different way. So right now, states are basically in a battle to see who can get the most representation. And if it's based on breaking the law, I consider it deeply illegitimate. If you base your representation on illegal aliens, I don't think that's legitimate.
So can I comment on that? Because this has actually been challenged in the courts. In fact, the Trump administration under his first term challenged the census in counting undocumented immigrants in their official census count. But they lost in court. And the reason why they lost in court is because the 14th Amendment specifically indicates that every human body on U.S. soil needs to be counted by the census.
Right, I understand that, but I think the originalists, I don't think the founding farmers ever envisioned that people will be using illegal aliens to juice up the numbers. And Trump, in response to that, I know what you're talking about. In response to that case, he issued something called the 2020 order, which prevented illegal aliens from being counted, but Biden overturned that. So the executive order actually did stand.
Hang on, one thing I need you to explain to people who can get confused about this, because I saw a lot of questions after you brought this up the first time. Well, there are illegals in red states, so this refutes your argument. Can you explain how redistricting and gerrymandering and how it can flip a red state blue?
Exactly. So right now, the illegals are actually being shipped into blue areas of these red states. So it actually doesn't impact the representation all that much because they were blue anyway. So, so gerrymandering is the practice of drawing districts to favor one party or another. And actually, Republicans are great at this. I have to give them, they are fantastic at this. So this is primarily a blue state issue because when illegals go to, and I'm sorry if that offends that term, they are illegal. So when illegals are
so offended right now.
Adam, we got to go to Adam next.
When illegals are shipped to blue states, they go to when illegals are shipped to red states, they are primarily congregating in blue areas, so the status quo remains. And so I actually sent a clip. Nat, I don't know if you got it. I have a clip of someone, a senior Democratic lawmaker, admitting to using illegal aliens to skew the censor numbers. It's the text I sent this morning to both you and Jill. Do you have that? She says it looked like she was like, I'm not sure if she was under oath, but she was certainly a witness testifying to this.
Adam, while we wait for that, go ahead and weigh in here.
So what's the question? Because we've come a long way since what this thing is. No King's protest?
My theory is that they're using illegal aliens to juice up the censorship numbers, which is why they are fighting so hard for these riots, these No Kings, the LA riots, which, I mean, the underlying galvanizing force is that they want to make illegal aliens not illegal.
Yeah, I think, look, for me, it's actually pretty simple. There's one flag that I think should be flying all across America, and that's the flag that I have right here, okay? What happens is this coalition of all these other flags, which is BLM, the feminists, the abortion, the anti-ICE, the gay flags, the Gays for Gaza flags, the Free Palestine, globalize the Intifada, defund the police. They're all their flags put together, and they put their priorities above that of the United States. So for me, it's pretty simple. Fly all your gay, queer, weird flags. You can do that in America. You can't do that anywhere else that you're protesting against. Only in America can you fly those flags. Good luck flying that in all these other countries. America is still the greatest place in the world. We have the greatest flag in the world. We have the greatest national anthem in the world. And only in America can you come out and burn the flag, say you hate America, and then go back home on your iPhone and tweet about it.
Okay.
So this is the problem that I have with all these weirdos
if you hate
out
us,
there
go home.
talking about
why
No Kings.
are you even here?
Here's the last point.
I lost
Here's the last
the thread.
point, Anna.
What's the issue?
Here's the
here?
last point.
Here's what
a lot of these people are not playing the game. The people playing the game are in Congress. They're the president. They're in power. All these people are booing from the sideline losers that have no power whatsoever.
But the point is it's funded. It's not just organic. It's not these people just doing it. It's funded. A lot of it is CCP. And I'm personally of the belief that we're already in a Cold War with China, man. You don't need to shoot a single bomb to be able to cause chaos and destruction in a place. China's doing it in many ways.
Yeah, but
They're
give
doing it
credit
through
to where
psychological
credit's due.
warfare. They're
It's
doing
not
it through
just
dark
China.
money.
Yes, it's
They're doing
China.
it with bioweapons.
Yes,
They're
it's
doing
Iran.
it with many
Yes,
different
it's Russia.
things.
And
They're trying to globalize this intifada, globalize China. They're trying to basically make it normal in America to root for jihadists, terrorists, China, gay, LGBT. The gays for Gaza, I mean, God
Oh my
forsake.
gosh. See the
Are you
videos
kidding
of the
me?
protests being
like,
pulled out
none of this
of
makes any
Egypt?
sense.
But
And
how
there's
is that
just
related to-
Marxism
Hold on.
masquerading
Here's how.
as globalism, masquerading as jihadism.
To bring it back to the beginning, if
Yes,
you go
please.
back to Cuomo's clip, he points out that these same groups are behind all of these different exceptionally divisive movements.
Move from one to the
so
other.
as we look at each other and we're tearing each other to shreds as though it's red and blue or white and black or gay and straight or Israel and Palestine, this is all being orchestrated. And we are engaging in a civil war.
Yeah, look, it doesn't
and
surprise me.
that is what you need to take away.
Yeah, look, it doesn't surprise me at all that foreign interests are going to exploit whatever unrest exists here in the U.S. That is not surprising to me at all. But I do want to just quickly go back to the issue that Lindy brought up, and I want to stay on that topic because we're kind of all over the place. So, Lindy, you mentioned the gerrymandering. That is a huge problem. So I agree with you on that. But I want to understand the connection to undocumented immigrants, because I could see that as being a problem if the representation of undocumented immigrants in our census is somehow rigging elections, but it's not.
But it is, though.
How?
If it gives an extra electoral college point, then how does that not rig
no,
it?
I'm talking about the 435, the way that
Both
they're divvied
of
up.
those are-
right.
that's
That's
the
primarily
theory.
the issue. I looked at the numbers today, and I'm happy to dig in my phone, but California would have lost seats in the 2020 census were it not for illegal aliens.
Understood.
Even if it were 1 to 2 seats, I think that's 1 to 2 seats too many.
So it's electoral, it's controlling Congress.
Yeah.
And it's subsequently
matters so
controlling votes
Exactly.
in the electoral
There
college.
was an analysis in 2020 that backs up what you're saying.
Right.
But you're not saying that like undocumented immigrants are like voting in elections.
No, I'm not saying that
that's
at all.
not the case.
There's something I also haven't said. It's the federal funding and allocation of resources.
That's true.
And the more populous the state is, the more money they get.
Right.
So there's so much behind this. This is why there are deep-pocketed, deep vested interests trying to fund these riots to make it seem like popular consensus is behind them when
You're
it's not.
saying what I
Can I
always
add
say,
that
follow the
illegal
money.
aliens
Exactly.
Thank you so much for watching Her Take. If you like the show, can you help us out by subscribing to the channel, clicking the notification button, sharing, commenting, joining the conversation? It helps us out a ton with the algorithm. We appreciate you.